Hi everyone, it's Nat here. Hope you're all doing well. So it's Friday night here in the south of Australia, and that means that I have Secondhand Sunday coming up in a couple of days, and I haven't even done anything with something from Secondhand Sunday last week. So I thought I'd better get on and make something with at least one thing that I got from my secondhand haul last time. So I did get a whole lot of sewing patterns. So I've grabbed this one out. I'm hoarding the ones that have the more vintage pictures at the moment. So I've just grabbed this one. And I have some of the pattern paper here. Well, this is the patterns. Here is the pattern paper. It's unbelievable how much pattern paper you get in these things. So I want to use some of that, and what I've decided to do is make some envelope type things that I can put into future journals. So I have some foolscap paper here. It's vintage. I picked it up from the secondhand shop a couple of years ago, and I've been using it to back all sorts of things. So I thought I would stick my pattern paper onto this. I was going to make the envelope just out of pattern paper, but I feel I'd have to like layer it, and then it's quite thick and bulky. So, and you don't see the pattern as well that way either, and I actually like seeing the lines and the writing on the patterns. So I thought I would back it onto some paper first. So I do have some bits that I have cut up. I don't know if these are going to be, that's not wide enough, so I might need to cut some more. See what we've got here. See, that looks like it's quite wide enough if we cut a rectangle out of that. So we might do that, would be the easiest thing. Just got to find where it's open. It's eluding me. So I hope everyone's got a nice weekend planned. I would like to get out in the garden and get my vegetables planted. I did plant some, and then we had a frost, because we get some pretty bad frosts here at times, and I always plant my veggies too early and then it knocks them out. So I lost some of my tomatoes and all my zucchinis. So I've bought some more to plant. I always want to get in early though if I can, because you just never know sometimes with the frosts. So this is fun to stick down. It's a lot sturdier than napkins, which makes it quite fun to use. But it goes down a lot like a napkin does. So that's going to be plenty wide enough. I'll just cut this bit off. A busy day today at the bookshop. Got a whole pile of books again. Another lovely lady come in to grab some books for crafting, because she must do folded books, I think. And they fold the pages and that. So she wanted some vintage books for that. So we're going to stick that down over the top of our paper like that. So really simple. So I'll use my glue stick for this. So I've got this, it's just a Woolworths mat that they used for the stickies, Fresh Friends, a couple of years ago. I think a few of them were in the recycle bin at work or something one day, so I grabbed them, and they're actually really good as little glue mats. So I hope it's not too much glare for your eyes though. So I'm just going to do half a page at a time here. I just find it a lot easier to manage that way when you've got a big sheet to stick down. And it's best to get good coverage, but I don't always get every bit, so there's usually little pillows of air in my pattern. But if you're going to embellish over the top, you don't really notice that. Just go around to the corners again. Looks like I've got most of the area there. So now we'll get this situated where we want it. About there looks good, I think. Now the good thing about this is it is so sturdy that if you don't like some of the wrinkles you get, you can pull it up without it ripping, which is really cool. I don't mind a few wrinkles. It kind of looks nice, and a lot of them you can sort of work them out. It's this middle one that's a bit where they've got the crease that I wouldn't mind trying to ease out just a little bit. That's got some of it. Just get it down and we'll squish all the creases down so they're not so noticeable. If you run over it with your finger, you can tend to get them, most of the bits out, most of the wrinkles come out. You're just left with little bits. You will get little pillows where you haven't got some glue stick. Yes, I'm finally feeling a bit better. For the last couple of months I've been quite severely iron depleted, so I wasn't feeling too good, so hence why I haven't kept up with the videos and that as well as I'd want to. But I had an infusion the other day, well, a week or so ago, and it's just started kicking in, and oh, I feel so much better. I can breathe. I tell you what, I've never felt so breathless in my life. It was pretty horrible, but you get that. All right, so that is that side done. So now we want to do the other side. So I'm going to pull it back a bit to where there is some glue, just because I don't want a big lot where I've missed glue in the middle there. So beautiful weather here at the moment. It's finally spring. That's what it feels like. Felt like winter the last week. So it's just lovely though, because the ground's still damp enough to pull out the weeds and get things planted. But oh my goodness, the weeds are growing like wildfire. The good thing when you have big weeds is when you pull them out, they make a big empty patch rather than having to pull out 50 little weeds to make the same size patch. So all right, that looks pretty good. So then we can just fold this down. I mean, I do this with a napkin to get the bits and pieces out, but if you rub it too hard for too long, it gets a bit damp from the glue and you rip holes in it. So this is really nice to use. All right, so that's our paper covered. Just move that out of the way now. Grab my scissors. So now I just want to trim the excess pattern paper off. Okay, so I've cut that down now. So it looks pretty neat just like that, doesn't it? So you could use that as a page in your journal and just fold it over. So now I'm trying to think of which way sometimes I like to look at the pattern and then decide which way I want bits to go on my envelope, which is difficult. The idea is that we want to make this the bottom of the envelope, and then we make that the top part. So I reckon we'll just fold this down about like this. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You can sort of do it whichever way you want, because you can always cut bits off to make it fit better if you want. And this is going to be our top, and we want that to about there, I reckon. So that's the basis of our envelope. Now the next thing I like to do is I want to cut these edges down a bit, just to make a bit of an angle, because I think that looks a bit more like an envelope. So I'll grab a pencil and my ruler to do this. Now we don't want to cut the angle up here where it's going to show this. We want to only see this bit of where we cut off the angle piece, if that makes sense. I'm talking a bit of gibber today, I tell you. It's late and I just had a snooze on the couch, so so I think I'll go centimetres, about 2 centimetres in either side, like so. And then I'll have a look how high up this goes. It goes about 7. So we'll do about 6 centimetres just to here. The same on this side. And then draw a line between the 2 dots. You can just eyeball this, but I get everything so crooked even when I do measure that I thought I would measure. And then just chop those bits off. Like that. And then as you can see, you can't see any of the paper from where I've done that, which is the way I like it. It just makes it a little bit more like an envelope. Now I might take just a tad of this off. I'm just debating taking the arrow off. Yeah, I think I like that better. And then I like to corner around these corners on the inside. Now the tissue paper does lift up a bit on the edges, but we are going to sew around it, so that doesn't matter so much. Now I'll do the 7mm corner rounder. Just neaten this up a little bit. Okay, so that is the shape of our envelope. That looks pretty cool, and that's that side. So now, got to decide if there's other bits and pieces that I want to sew onto it as I go, because I am thinking about putting a few pockets in this one. Now the idea is, I like to just sew around the edge while it's open, just the whole way around. And that way, if I want to, I can tie this into a journal as a page if I like, and then stick these edges together, and we've got a little envelope that's sewn into the journal as a page. Or you can sew it in and not stick the edges together, so it sits like that in the journal as a page, and you can open it up, and then you can write on it, embellish it, do what you like on this side. So that would be the plan. And I think with this one, I might put a couple of pockets in it. It's something I haven't tried yet. So what we'll do is another piece of the paper with some tissue paper on it, and we can cut that down to make our pockets. So I'll get my board back. And we'll be able to use some of our smaller bits for this, I think. We do have some of that would make it all right. Maybe we could do a side tuck or something with that piece. See what else we've got lying around here. Just use up some of these scrappy bits, why not? Now, we'll stick this on an edge like this, because that should be the right size to do a side tuck if we want. So I'll get some glue down for that. Hate using stick glue, but it is real handy for some things. I've got that the right way. Just going to turn that around to get it away from the gluey bit. And I might stick this down for another pocket. I could stick almost the whole lot down and then chop it up as we need it. Now my glue stick is almost non-existent here. I'll try and finish what little is in there. I think it's just about had it. It's trying to tell me something. Do have another one here. Yeah, that looks better. Problems is you use so much when you're doing this sort of thing, don't you? Luckily, I've got a whole drawer full of them because I grabbed a whole heap when we first went, when COVID first hit, we went into lockdown. I was scared of running out of glue, so I stocked up. And then I keep forgetting that I've got some in a drawer, so I'll buy more. I'm sure we probably all do that with our glue stick. Pretty good, so I should let that dry a little bit. Okay, so my glue's still a bit sticky, but we'll get started cutting these pocket pieces out. Of course, you can be as inventive as you like with your tuck spots and pockets. I'm short on time as usual because it is the weekend. I've got to get this up before I do my next Secondhand Sunday haul video, and I have so many of the challenges. I haven't done any of the group challenges yet this month, so I must get on with them this weekend. in between the gardening and washing and all the other stuff. Okay, we might need to cut that down still a bit more because it might be a bit wide, but that's a start. Now this one. Where is my envelope? Because we could put this on this side. I think I like it better that way. I would have to corner around the edges to suit the corner rounding that we've already got. Hopefully things would stay in there all right, or we could put it on this side. No, I like the looks of it better on that side. So that's going to be a side tuck there. Got enough room. Maybe I'll cut it down just a tad on this side. Doesn't look too crooked for me. All right, and we'll corner around the corners that we're going to stick on this edge. And again, we'll do them with the 7mm. That did not work properly. I must make sure it's in before I do it. Might have to trim that one. Doing well. It's a really good corner round, but sometimes I don't put the things in far enough, or they're not straight in there as they should be. That's going to have to do. We probably won't notice it too much because we're going to sew this on, so that will sit on there like that. Wonderful. So we want something for, might just do a pocket down there. Quite like the numbers there. Maybe we'll just do that. So let's cut this. Like that. Is that straight? Doesn't look too bad for me. Probably shouldn't follow these lines because they're not straight. I didn't stick it on straight, so that's going to be real crooked up there. But if I don't follow them, then it will probably look more crooked. So does it matter? Probably not. So I think I'll make that about there. So that will sit in there like a little pocket like that. This side is annoying me a bit though. Now, do I want a corner round? I don't think I do with those. Now, do we want to do something on this, which will be the lid of, I don't think I will. I think I'll just leave that plain for now. So what I want to do with these is go to the sewing machine, and I'm going to just sew around these three sides, and I'm going to sew just down that side. That will help hold the tissue paper on. All right, so as you can see, I've sewn around the three edges there and just down the one edge of this one. So I'm just going to trim this a little bit shorter. So what I'm going to do now is just tack this down with a bit of glue before I sew around it. And the same with the other one. So I will use my Helmers for this. Try and match up these corners. That doesn't look too bad. Now I'm sure I'll need a tissue for glue excess that comes out here. Making sure that I've got no sort of overhang there, so that looks good. Now I might be able to trim my little bits. I mean, I could leave them hanging, they look pretty cool, but we'll see. I do have to sew around it. We'll see what it looks like when I finish sewing. I'll just cut that a bit shorter. Okay, so this one would be sewing down, putting it in like that. So we're just going to stick down along the bottom line. So basically we're putting glue where we haven't sewn. Which I have to tell myself because I'm good at always putting glue in the wrong spot. And we'll stick our pocket down over that way a bit more. Tell you what, this glue's good. It sticks quick. You do have a little bit of wiggle room, but it sticks quick, which I do like. All right. Now, what I'm thinking is I do have to stick down these sides too, silly me. So just ignore what I said before. Or else we just have a bit of a tuck spot, not a pocket. So let's get some glue down there and some glue. Just stick those edges down. Rub this glue off. Don't know where my glue rubber is. There it is. There, that's neatened it up a little bit. I think I will trim. Now that we've got glue there, that should hold the stitches for us, hopefully. Trim those ones. Might trim these ones too. So over that one first. All right, now what I'm going to do is open this up and sew the whole way around the edge of it. So I have sewed around my envelope. Love the way it looks. So I'm just going to trim some of this off. And this one up the top here. You could leave them if you like the looks of it. It'd be nice to experiment with different coloured cottons and that as well. So that is our little sewing pattern envelope. I really love that. So as I said, I like to leave it open, and that way I can sew it into a signature if I like, and we can open it up like that and use it. Of course we wouldn't stick this one shut because we'd want to open it up because it has the pockets. I did make another one, which is this one. I've left some of the cotton on that one, and this one's just plain. So this one, if I want to, I can sew in as a page and then stick that edge and that edge together and it will be like an envelope. Or I can just leave it and it can be a writing spot. And I'd probably put it in that way and have the threads dangling down. So you could do them either way, really. So I love the way they look. They look really cool. And these would look really neat embellished. They'd be heaps of fun to embellish. I'm not going to embellish today because I don't really have time and I think it'll be good to finish this video here. Just needed to get something made with something that I bought in last week's secondhand haul. So but these will be great. I wouldn't mind making heaps of these. I've got that much pattern. These will be great to make and just have sitting around, and then when I want to put them into a journal I can embellish them. And it doesn't have to be a sewing theme. These would be beautiful with botanicals and that on as well. They'd look cool inked up also, but I thought I would leave these plain because they look pretty cool. So let us find something. What have I got here? I've got some cabinet cards that I was gifted recently. So you'd be able to slip that in like that. And then something in there as well. And then it would just shut like that. And of course you could stamp. Stencil would look really nice. So yeah, I think one day I'm going to sit down, make a whole heap and do some background stamping and stenciling and see what I can come up with because they look awesome. So that is it for now. I hope that gave you some ideas. Heaps of fun to make. So much easier to use this stuff than actual napkins. It's nice and sturdy. It's a good way of using it all up. As I said, if you're like me, I collect all these patterns and they just sit there forever. I love cutting out the pictures on the front and the instructions to embellish journals, but I'm always left with a whole heap of the pattern paper. So this is a great way to use it up. So take care of yourselves, be good, and I will see you again soon. Bye.